What's going
Hey
on?
there, everything.
I'm so honored to do this live with you. I'm getting my headphones so that um I could hear you a lot better. Yeah, man. Happy
Oh,
Friday,
yes,
everybody.
yes. Happy Friday to you. Great day to you. And how's everything right now? How's your cat down the road? How's
Cosmo is
Cosmo?
great, you know. He's such an affectionate cat. Buttercup is that too. You know what I mean? They're uh just such great divine beings, you know. Like I was asleep earlier, and of course Cosmo gives me kisses when I'm asleep, you know. So that's always sweet. Hey, Jordan, how's it going?
Yeah, yeah. Buttercup, I definitely took to Buttercup, or Buttercup took to me. Cosmo was like watching me from afar, you know. He was peeping me out, but Buttercup definitely was
Yes,
coming
yes,
around.
those are my babies, man, and I'm so glad that you were able to connect with them. Um, so okay, cool. I got these headphones. What is it called? I don't know. Untwisted, right?
Oh,
Yeah, that's
you
the
you was
word.
untangling?
Yeah,
They were
it
an
was detanglement.
entanglement?
That's the word. Get this hair together too. Yeah,
They
yeah.
had an entanglement.
So that's awesome.
My goodness. How was your retreat? Didn't you have a nature retreat or something last week, like last
Yeah,
Saturday?
so we do like nature church. Didn't get to do it, but hopefully at the beginning of April we can do our nature church.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
I'm paying attention more to the energy and seeing, okay, what's what, right? Like, should we move here? Should we do this? Should we do that? And going with the flow from that. So we've had some adjustments and arrangements. So yeah.
Yeah. And and Paige, for anyone who's never heard those two words together, nature and church, how did the two come together in harmony? How does that blend,
So
work out?
to be quite honest with you, um, funny how things work. Like at my first retreat that I ever had, I just wanted to be able to blend the two where you have nature and entheogens, you know? Um, being able to go into nature, experiencing nature, and then we do medicine afterwards, right? The first medicine you need is nature. A lot of us are not, um, we're not in tune with nature. You know what I mean? Like being in America, a lot of the nature has been stripped from us, a lot of ecological changes. We're not in the tropics like that, unless you go to Florida. But even then, there's been a lot of, you know, adjusting of the land, right? Adjusting landscape. So, going to places like Costa Rica where, she's still a baby, hasn't, there's a lot of protection there. You get that beautiful, wow, okay, this is healing. Just to be able to walk on the trail, just to be able to see the volcano and connect with such beauty, that's the medicine. And then from there, that helps people loosen up. And then you can get into the entheogens because the entheogens can be quite intense and possibly intimidating for people. But nature helps you, you know, relax, take off your armor. Everything's okay. We're safe. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's like allowing us to be able to ground and also to strip down, to take away all
Yeah.
those layers and layers that we put on ourselves within nature. Have you always felt connected in nature like all your life, like
No.
even since
Mm-mm.
childhood?
No, and it's so funny because I had always been a technological kid. Like, I was introduced to the computer at a very young age. And so I was always the one doing the graphics and the social media since a child, being able to work MySpace and all that. I didn't get into nature like that. My family wasn't really into it. And so I created my world through the internet. It wasn't until I got older that I started, you know, experiencing nature in the way that I felt, you know, I needed to. Like adulthood is when I started camping. You know what I mean? Like seriously, and I was like, wow, this is amazing. You know what I'm saying? You like, ooh, you know, being able to go out in nature and things like that. So that typical family where it's like, oh, let's go camping, let's go out in nature, let's do this. No, I'm the one that initiates. Like we just had like a really big family gathering, and I said, y'all, we as a family we should go camping, and they're like, yeah, as a family y'all should go camping. You know, like they're not into it. You know what I'm saying? They redirect very quick. Like, no, y'all should go. I support that from afar. You know, yeah.
Go ahead. Go ahead, do what you do.
Right,
Young buck,
right,
you
right,
know.
right. Right. Peace and love. Peace and love, family.
Wow, wow. So, having that newfound relationship, being able to cultivate that, and now being able to share it with others, nature church, that's a beautiful thing, a beautiful marriage of those two things with even more
Yeah,
unity in the
yeah,
community, you
yeah.
know?
It's an amazing aspect. And the wording of nature church, I didn't even know I was doing nature church. I'm gonna be honest. It wasn't until I actually went to a church down here in Austin. They host nature church, right? And I was like, oh, this is
Mm.
what I had been doing, but I never called it nature church. So that's what it's called. It's called nature church, right? But yeah, you know, being able to go in nature, possibly with a microdose, or you don't really have to take a microdose of anything. Just being in nature with each other as one, you know, with your drums, your music, or whatever, and just hiking together. You know, meditating. That's the medicine. That's the medicine. You know.
Yeah. You, with the medication of
Yes.
meditation as well, and having that be a foundation as well, where do you find the relation with meditation in like raising your vibration, or sitting in contemplation, or just relaxation? Like what do you feel is your
Meditation
meditation?
is my lifesaver, you know. When things get chaotic, because I still believe in the balance of things, right? And so before I snap or do anything, I sit with self first. When the world is very chaotic, I have to take time for my peace. Um, how I've created anything or manifested anything in my life first came from the visualization, first came from being able to silence my mind and being, I would say, delusional enough to visualize this inner world that I'm trying to manifest. And then from there, I allow the universe to bring it into physicality. But I can't do that if the mind is not silent and if I don't trust myself to take space away from the chaotic world of what's going on right now, right? What's going on in my external reality. Because our external realities can get very chaotic. And then it causes you not to be able to trust yourself or trust the process. So the meditation for me allows me to take a step back and remember, I control this. I got the wheel. Even when it don't feel like I got the wheel, I got the wheel. I just need to take 15, 30 minutes, maybe even an hour to affirm and redirect everything. So, yeah.
Right. Right. One of my mentors and one of my good friends, they told me that, they said, I don't meditate to control my mind. I meditate so that my mind
Yes.
does not control me. And
Yes.
oh, that
Uh,
that was a different
such
spin,
powerful wisdom. When you told me that the first time, I was like, "Ooh, that's medicine." You know what I'm saying? Like, "Ooh, that's medicine." Because oftentimes we do want to control everything and say, "No, I don't want this to control me." That's the thing. I'm not doing this. I am not
Mm-hmm.
doing this to control it. I don't want it to control me. That's powerful.
Right. Right. Very, very powerful. And, Paige, would you just let us know a little bit about being delusional enough? I like how you said that, to be delusional enough in this world where one might say that to a certain degree,
Mm-hmm.
we're all delusional, right? Like we tell ourselves things
All
that aren't true
the
about
time.
ourselves all the time. We're very, very critical, very, very self-critical. We criticize, we debase ourselves, we say all sorts of things internally. So when it comes to being delusional enough with intention, why do you feel like that's something worth mentioning?
Because the definition of being delusional has a bad rep. But now with this wave of the law of attraction and people manifesting their realities, being delusional is a very key component. Um, and just the definition of being delusional, right, is you're believing in something that actually is not there or not founded in reality. But in order for real dreams to come true with great rewards, like say for instance, you don't have a lot of money, you make, maybe 20, $30,000 a year. Okay, in order for you to get that six-figure salary, or maybe even become a millionaire, the mindset has to be there first. You have to be delusional to think, I am a millionaire already. Everything that I desire is already within me. You ask the person outside of you, they're like, oh, this person's delusional. What are you talking about? You're not a millionaire. You show me your receipts. Show me on paper that you're actually making $1 million, right? In the mind, you have to trick your mind, and be delusional enough to believe that I am that millionaire. And once you start moving in that format of becoming that millionaire, or becoming that, medicine man, or becoming, this innovator, whatever it is that you desire, it starts in the mind first with tricking the mind that you are already what you desire to be. That's delusional. And it's a key component to getting whatever it is that you want in this reality.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So, with that being a key component, and even just, being able to play a
Yeah.
Jedi mind trick on yourself, when the rest of the world is kind of always programming us by default, being that person that's going to program themselves internally in your internal world, where do affirmations come into play? Because I remember in one of your videos, you talked about people
Right.
not affirming themselves enough,
Yes.
you know?
Affirmations come into play, anytime, you're met. Well, I wouldn't say anytime, but every day you should affirm who you are. It's key point. And be specific, right? Like part of it is one, writing down whatever it is that you want in the reality, who you want to become, who you want to be associated with, what gifts and blessings that you wish to, have. Be very specific and affirm it every day as if you already have it. Not I will, I have. Not it's on my way, it's already here. And you have to trick yourself into doing that every day. And even when you feel things again are chaotic in the reality and it feels shaky and things are very hard for you, continue to create the peace. Continue to create the world by affirmations. That's the key thing. Woosah just stepped in the building. I got on my favorite Woosah shirt. It got holes in it now, brother. I got to get another one. But the thing is that you really have to affirm it. Even the reality. Say, for instance, things are going crazy or wild, and I see a number sequence that reminds me, trust the process. I say, oh, okay, yes, right on time, right on time. Then I go into my affirmation state, right? Because the reality will trick you. The matrix may kind of trick you, like, oh, we're going to throw you off your square a little bit. Let's see if you remember. It's just a school. So it's like, okay, let's see if you remember. We're going to throw a curveball. You know what I mean? you know?
So, in the university of life,
Yeah.
when class is always in session, right? What do you feel like was most benefiting your progression when it came to the recitation of affirmations? Were you mostly writing them? Were you speaking them? Were you hearing them? How did you enjoy doing that most?
Yeah,
And what
most
was most
powerful
powerful
for
for
me
you?
was writing it down. Writing it down and then saying it. But now these days I'm a bit more advanced. So what I do is I do write it down and then I record the voice memo. So it's convenient for me. As soon as I wake up, I play the voice memo and I repeat after myself. because now I program myself that whoever's recording that is the highest mind, and I'm following its lead. So it says, you know, I am attracting love into my life, or I've attracted love into my life, right? I've attracted abundance into my life. I am always divinely guided and protected, right? So I do that, right? Like if I'm feeling down or whatever the case may be, or whatever, you know, because we get hit with things all the time. I play those voice memos to remind myself that whatever I'm going through is only temporary, if it's a storm, because I've planted the seed already through the voice memos that, hey, no, the real reality is that you have this going on, you know? So that's what I like
Yes.
to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's so awesome that you recorded
Yep.
in your own voice, you know?
Yes.
That's amazing. You know, I think
Yeah.
that's even more
Yeah.
powerful, right?
Yeah, I think that's more powerful,
Okay.
you know,
To be in,
so because it's consistent. You hear it every day, and then you start to remember it because you're hearing the audio. So it's gotten
mm,
to the point where I remember it. Like, oh, I know what to say now, right? Even if I don't play it, or I miss a day, or I may miss a morning for that instance, you know, rushing work or whatever, it's still already up here, repetitive, right? You
mm,
keep playing a song, you're gonna remember it. You keep playing a voice memo, you're gonna remember it. You know.
right, right. You know, when it comes to from affirmation and then confirmation, because first we do the affirmations and then we see the confirmation of our affirmation. So what was like when it came to how people sometimes we get impatient when we're seeing the process go through and seeing the passage of time. What was one of the affirmations that you seen confirmed in your life that made you even more of a believer to tell yourself, okay, this is something I need to do every day?
Oh, okay. So I tell people um I had my Bufo experience. And before then, um, I went on a trip to Costa Rica. That was the first thing. And I didn't really have any money. I had to make some sacrifices and say, you know what, I got to put some bills off. But I really wanted to go because the last year I couldn't go. I said, I'm not going to miss it this time because of bills. I think bills are always going to be there. So I'm going to go ahead and take a chance. So I ended up doing it. And that's when the magic occurred. When I went and I got dropped off in the middle of nowhere and I had friends come and get me, you know, just being able to have things taken care of when things weren't really taken care of, things were being able to take care of, and actually meeting people that were not paying these ridiculous amounts of rent. You know, they were paying 6 times less than what I was paying in America. And so that inspired me. And I said, you know what? I told myself I'm going to get here by December. And I mean it. And lo and behold, I made it there that December of that year. So I kept telling myself, I'm going to do this. I don't care what it takes. I have to do this. This is something I have to do. And so throughout, of course, that year, I had my setbacks and obstacles. I did a Bufo journey. It was a rough ride afterwards, the coming down, dark night of the soul for 2 months. But after point, I worked diligently through the year to say, you know what, I need to learn how to make some money online. That's what I'm going to do. I need to learn how to make this sustainable for myself. And so through doing that, consistently, always thinking in the back of my mind that this is where I'm going to be, because I stepped my feet on the ground there, my mind was already there too. Parts of my consciousness was left there. And so that's what I did, was affirm that. And then when I moved there and I stayed there and I felt like, oh man, I'm able to sustain myself here and anywhere else that I'll go. I felt that. I said, I have to keep affirming. There's no way to stop here now. There's no way to stop having faith, or there's no way that I will stop this, you know? And so since then, it's been 3 years of me just having the faith to go off and just do things on my own, and you know, work for self and just trust the process, you know? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Thank you for the testimony. You know, thank you for having that faith in you, having that faith in yourself, trusting the process. And when it comes to others, where it seems that some people may lack faith or lack certainty or even lack the conviction within themselves to say, come what may, you know, I don't care what it takes, by any means necessary, I'm going to make it happen. However, you know, where there's a will, there's a way. What do you feel like holds most people back from that?
Again, the external reality. Um, People look at bills, people look at obligations, people look at their current situation and feeling as though they don't have a way out. I wouldn't say I recommend what people, you know, or I wouldn't say I recommend that people do what I did. I just tell people that this is what I did. I tell people that, yeah, I did leave my job. Yeah, I did have 3 months left on my lease. I did not find somebody to sublease. I just left.
Mm.
It probably did impact my credit. I didn't care. I said I had to be out by December,
Mm.
and that's what I did. You know, and so from there, that's when all the magical blessings began because I realized I didn't need any credit. I had me. I didn't need any, you know what I'm saying? I didn't need all of that, right? I had me. And I know that because I answered my highest calling and I believed in the transformation from there, there's no way I would be left and led astray from there because what I felt from my journey was that, ooh, I am God. I'll always be taken care of. I have to believe this and I have to carry this everywhere that I go from here on out. So there will be no, even when I do get discouraged or I do get down, I know that I have the wheel at all times, you know, and there's always a lane that's open, that's free for me to go down, safe and unharmed. So as long as I follow that inner light and that inner guidance, I won't be led astray. Yeah.
Wow. Woo! I'm, I'm getting goosebumps over here, you know? It's like,
Yeah.
this is church right now.
Ah,
I feel church in here right
I love
now. You
that.
say, I won't be led, you know? I won't be led astray as long, you know? It's like, oh my gosh, you know, like you tell us all the time, you know, Paige, in your videos, like as the reflection of
Yes.
God consciousness, you know, as the reflect that the universe is on your side at all times, you know, letting people understand
At all
at
times.
all times. And just to keep that and to believe that and to perceive that, to be able to receive that. So, oh my goodness, this is just so powerful to witness and so powerful just to hear the energy frequency in your voice because we can tell that it's not just
Yeah.
on you, it's in
Yeah.
you, you
I
know?
love your
And
energy so much. I always say
yeah.
Master Teacher Jerome, you know what I mean? Because you really are, you know, and man, you know, you're a gift to the world. Don't forget that, seriously. And I look to you for a lot of guidance and wisdom too. But people don't know that they are the reflection of God consciousness. We can say it all day long, but it has to be felt, it has to be known. And it's not an article of clothing that you can just take off. It's an organ that has to be taken care of, right? And even deeper than that, it is the essence, the light, the breath that is within us. You see what I'm saying? It's something that's in us, or we're in it, shall I say. We're in it, right? And so the more that we understand that and we embody that, then there's just no way that you could walk around as if you're little old you. No, you're the big I. You know what I mean? We all are the I, the isness. So, you know, we have to conduct
Mhm.
ourselves as that.
And even when you see yourself as that, does that also change your relationship with everyone else when that's
Yeah,
how you see
it
yourself?
changes the
You
relationship
know?
because
Mhm.
then I see us all as the same thing. Now, I have to be mindful not to treat everything uh, as the same thing, meaning that, or I have to be mindful not to treat the evil aspects with, how can I say it? With naivety, if that makes sense, right? Being naive, just welcoming people in that wish to do harmful things to me. You understand what I mean? Although we are the isness, I love myself enough to protect myself from other parts of myself that doesn't love itself.
Oh, wow.
Yes,
Can you say
I
that
have
one
to
more
love
time?
myself enough to protect myself from different parts of myself that doesn't love itself.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Whoa. Okay. That was a big one. I'm munching on that. I'm letting that simmer. I'm letting that marinate and digest. I hope people are taking notes. You know, when I met you, Paige, one of the things that really struck me and really impressed me about you was not necessarily what you did, but it's all the things that you weren't doing. You know, it wasn't necessarily what you started, but what you stopped or what you never took
Yeah.
part in the first place. So, for instance, I was talking to you, I get a lot of examples when I listen to you speak. I hear, these great people that I've heard throughout history or I've seen in movies, different things. And I was talking to you about movies like Morpheus and The Matrix and Inception and Leonardo and all this stuff. And as I was talking to you about these movies, I'm just under the assumption that
Right.
you've seen these movies, right? And so I'm like, you remember in Inception, yeah, like they went through the dream world and they went to another dream world, and you're just kind of looking at me like, yeah, brother, And I'm like, wait, you seen Inception, right? And you're like, no, and I'm like, what? So it dawned on me as we continued talking. It dawned on me, wow, it's not just what she's doing, it's what she's not doing. She's not doing what
Yeah.
everyone else is doing.
Yeah.
You know. So
Yeah.
you speak
A
on
lot of
that.
people think that I've read a lot of books in life. I have not. Um, a lot of people think that I've watched a lot of movies. Not really. Like I would say the whole Matrix film trilogy I got into around, 2016, 2017. I was not a big like action film Marvel character kind of like no. The first Marvel film that I actually watched and loved was the Avengers Endgame because I was like, "Oh my God. This is what's going on in reality right now." Or this is the projection because I was watching with a awareness of my knowledge from occultism, right? Like I like documentaries, not fiction films or things like that. And it wasn't until I got older that I realized like, oh man, the fiction is the reality. And so, I still have a lot of catching up to do with books and uh and films. I still have more of a catching up to do with that. But um I realized that again, like a lot of my knowledge and information comes from experience. Um, and if I did learn from someone, it was like, okay, well, you know what? I need to figure this out for myself and actually see this for myself before I begin talking about this. I have to do it first, and then I have to verify if actually what I'm seeing and experiencing is real from the non-dual perspective, if that makes sense. So, yeah.
Hmm. Right. It does make sense. And, like I was saying, I was so impressed because it seemed like you weren't being distracted and you had even more focus and more concentration in your field because you weren't paying attention to everything that everyone else was paying attention to. So, what do you feel like most people underestimate about having that focus and that concentration and to just be on that one track instead of just, letting themselves or letting their focus be taken away or
Um,
distracted?
I would say to that, like, remember that, distractions just keep you away from being your most advanced version of yourself. So
Mhm.
I look at it like this, the more time that I spend on getting somewhere, I get closer to my vision. So the distractions are going to be endless. This is a part of the game. The distractions are going to be endless. They're going to come in the form of, and I just got a notification from TikTok. They're going to come in the form of social media like TikTok. They're going to come in the form of movies. It's going to come in the form of music. It's going to come in the form of celebrity talk and blogs and things like that. But the more that you direct your attention to you, whether it just be affirmations, time for yourself, nature, making a better decision on your food choice for the day. I saw that they were advertising the chicken nuggets on the television, but I chose a salad. Little things like that get you a step further to you. So the distractions, I would say, is that they're going to be endless. You got to figure out what distractions are going to be best for you. You know, I choose to be distracted in bliss. I want to be distracted in nature. I know I have work to do, right? Those distract, because everything is a distraction, right? We really could be doing a lot better, but you got to choose what distractions work best for you. If that makes sense. Yeah.
Wow. Wow, that makes perfect sense. So choosing your
Yeah.
distractions, you know, being very particular, even meticulous about
Yes.
what you want to be distracted by,
Yes.
you know.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Oh my. So when we limit those distractions, we gain more traction. With less distractions over here, we gain more
Yes.
traction over there,
Yes. Yes. I
you know.
like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah. That's medicine. That's medicine. I like that. Yeah.
Oh my. So So when it comes to having that sense of direction and even having that goal or destination in mind for you, when it came to living the lifestyle that you wanted to live, having the fruits that you wanted to have, and be able to have that sense of community and connection with others, the digital nomad lifestyle, was it always the way it envisioned, or because some people, they see, okay, somebody just on the beach with a
Yes.
laptop, sitting on the beach with a margarita,
Yeah.
or something, with a laptop, chilling. But for you, what does digital nomad life
Um,
mean for you?
it did mean that at one point in time, right? And it was really cool to do that. Hold on. Let me put my headphone back in. It did mean that at one point in time, right? Where I got to go to the beach and what it is like to work on the beach, and um, work from home, work wherever I feel called to work from, and being honest and transparent about with people about what it actually takes to do it. Is that a lot of it, yes, I can help you, assist you make money, but part of what it takes is something I can't teach you. It's about really trusting yourself and having the faith and the spiritual component. That's something that people miss. And I tell people that that's a part you can't skip with this, is you have to have belief in yourself. The foundation has to be there, before you decide to do this. Because if you say you have 1 month and you don't make any money, people will glamorize the life. You have 1 month where you don't make any money, you're like, oh geez, right? You have 1 month where you make $0, the next month you make 5,000. Can you actually deal with that? Could you still actually be consistent in your practices? Would you still have faith? That's something that can't be taught. That's something that has to be done. That time has to be spent. I can talk about it with you. I can give you exercises, but the belief has to be cultivated, and that's something that can't be rushed or skipped. You know.
Right, right. You remind me, Paige, one of my favorite videos of all time with you, and it was short. It was one of your reels. You be keeping it real on all of your reels. Keeping it
Love
real
that.
for real. So one of the reels that you put up, Paige, was one on consistency. And where do you feel like people don't really get it? Like, they just don't understand that everything, even though they seem like they're just small actions, small choices, small decisions, that everything is amounting to
Yeah.
something, you know?
Yeah.
What? Yeah.
The consistency, like I said, the consistency is what's going to get you to where you need to be, right? It's not really about you being the best in your field, right? There's plenty of people. I don't believe even that the celebrities are the best in their field, right? They were just the ones that were most consistent. They were the ones that believed in themselves the most. I believe that there is so much talent out here that, I mean, it'll almost make you cry as to how talented they are, but they were not consistent and they didn't believe in themselves, right? And it just goes to show you the spiritual deficit that many of us are in, you know. And so the consistency, whether it be, your affirmations every day, like even when something goes wrong, I'm like, you know what, let me get outside and jump for joy. Like people don't realize, like even the church was so dope for being able to, when you're going through a lot in your life and you got the organ playing, you got the praise break, you dancing. And he's like, it don't matter. I know you got bills tomorrow. Dance. Yeah. Do, 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 do. You know what I mean? Because that changes the energy and the frequency. And that's something that we can carry with us in our indoctrination with the church. Is that even through all the BS that goes on and how you're behind on bills or how your health may be declining, the praise break is designed for you to remember that everything's going to be okay. When you're praising the God in you, it tricks you again. Like, oh, that's going on, but it's not really my reality. Redirect, switch lanes, right? So that consistency, remembering to affirm, even when it doesn't feel good, meditate, even when you're super distracted and you have all these thoughts going through your mind or self-doubts or, whatever, continue to do that. When you see those synchronicities, thank yourself, thank your wisest self, for seeing that. Oh, thank you. It's a reminder, right? Trust yourself. So, that's the thing, is the consistency, the persistence, and the belief in oneself that has to take place every day.
Wow. These are the components, and when you talked about how, just being in that trust, being in that, and just not being led astray, I love that as well. You talk about how we see celebrities, like we see the glory, but we don't know their story, right? We don't know what they had to go through and consistently grow through to get to where they are. So what do you feel like when it came to the amount of success that many people attribute to as success, when it came your way, when the abundance came your way, when prosperity came your way, did life drastically change, or were there some things that
Life
remained?
did change, because when you get a certain amount of money, things do change. It's not like you go in the store, oh, I don't have to budget. All right, I'll try everything today. Right? And it's like, oh man, that's so cool, because you're exposing yourself to different tastes. You have a level of privilege. Being able to actually give to people, and you're not worrying about, oh, okay, well, how am I going to be taken care of? No, I'm actually giving because I'm blessed to give it. You know, and it shifted a lot in me, and I just had so much gratitude. I would wake up and just say, oh, thank God, this is amazing. Because I remember what it was like to not have. And then now that I do have, it just shifted so much within me. But there were things that I realized that were very key that did not change. And it was the fact that the pain that was still there, the void that couldn't be filled with money, and that's something that I tell people and warn people about, is that, if you don't feel certain things, you don't feel certain voids, or you don't practice detachment is so key. If you don't practice detachment, you can very well blow all your money on trying to feel something with money that can't be filled with money. So I found myself, oftentimes not being happy because of the fact that I seriously wanted to heal something that couldn't be healed. And I didn't know how to detach at the time. So I ended up losing a lot of things because I couldn't detach. You see what I'm saying? And people look at detachment as loss. Detachment is the prevention of loss. You see what I mean? So um, those were the things that I could not change with money. That I said, oh, okay. I realized that when you do have money, these things are what they want or what the celebrities warn you about, right? Is that like more money, more problems, you know, because now you have everything at your disposal now to fill voids. And sometimes it's not good, you know. I
Mm-hmm.
found myself smoking more weed because I had the money to do it. I found myself eating more because I had the money to do it because I was trying to feel something. See what I mean? And so that's really important is to remember that whatever you're asking for, that you have the balance and the discernment to keep it, and that you align yourself also with your spiritual work, right? That whatever I do with this money, that it goes towards me healing myself, and that I also learn detachment, that I also learn, you know, to um, be present in the moment, not worry about what could happen, worry about what's going on now, being present. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. Thank you for that message. That's a beautiful message, and just so eloquently put, because we can feel that you're
Mm-hmm.
coming from firsthand experience. You- This is coming from firsthand experience. These are things that you've witnessed within yourself. And even when you talk about detachment, like what is one thing when it came to filling voids and all the things that we don't realize is there until it's almost like be
Yes.
careful what you wish for, you know careful what you wish for, because you might get it, or actually
Yeah.
you will get it. It's like it's coming, but just understanding to be ready to be in balance and to be in harmony with
Yes.
yourself first.
Be
Is
in
that what I'm
harmony with
hearing?
self first.
Okay.
That spiritual foundation is insanely important. I tell people that all the time. Like, you know, if you really, really want abundance, cultivate it within first. The universe doesn't have a choice but to respond to it afterwards. You know, sort yourself
Mm,
out first,
okay.
you
Okay.
know.
Hmm. And you would say, well, one might say that you're still very
Yeah.
young. I mean, relatively
Mm-hmm.
young. You're still in your 20s, right? So if you were to go back to maybe even the 19-year-old Paige or the 20-year-old Paige, what words would you have for her? When it came to this
Oh,
lifestyle that
remember
you're living
to
now.
have fun. Yeah. I would have told her to remember to have fun because I didn't have a lot of fun. Everything was very serious for me. And this is why like I have I guess a lot of and people don't believe I'm 28, right? Or yeah, because I took things very seriously. I started my spiritual journey very young. And that would be the advice that I give my 19-year-old self is to remember to have fun. You are going to make mistakes. Um, but just remember to have fun. Enjoy the ride. Enjoy the ride, you know. And everything's gonna be okay. That's what I would have told my 19-year-old. So yeah.
Well, so have fun, enjoy the ride.
Yeah.
Everything's gonna be all right. You know,
Yeah.
it's all gonna be
Yeah.
good. Yeah, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Mes- Message
Yeah.
from your higher self.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Have you ever that page, because you said that you write things down sometimes? Have you ever written letters or even talked to your higher self in that way
I've
through writing?
journaled. I don't journal as often. Um, but I've definitely journaled some messages to myself. I wouldn't necessarily say I can't remember. I probably have, but I can't remember if I've written a letter to my highest self, or younger self. Well, yeah, I can't remember if I've done it or not. Yeah.
Because I feel in this moment of
Mhm.
now, right now, as you were speaking those loving words to yourself at 19, I feel like you're speaking that energy over yourself
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
You know, like if time is an illusion, as we say, that time is not real. You just
Yep,
spoke that over
yeah. And it
yourself,
still
you
applies.
know?
Is remember to have fun page, meet people, take time to listen to people, people's stories, um, you know, and yeah, just enjoy the ride, right? Enjoy meeting different parts of yourself, So, yeah, that's something that I definitely, resonate with. Like me personally, I've never been, even as a teenager or, a young adult, I've never been a club person, never really been a bar person. And so the typical places that, you see young people hang out at, I didn't really like to. I was the kickback person before they had kickbacks, you know. So I was the really chill person that wanted to talk to people, that wanted to have intellectual stimulation. And so that's the thing, is that, in times where we go within as spiritualists and we support isolation, isolation can also take you away from yourself. And yourself is
Mm,
people. Yourself is the community.
mm,
Yourself is nature, you know. So isolation, means, hey, I have to go within, but don't cut yourself off from parts of yourself either. You still need people. You still need community, and you still need Mother Nature. Yeah.
mm. Wow. That's not something I hear every day. That's really, I love how you put that new spin on it because, usually we hear things like from isolation comes, creation, from isolation, inspiration. And there is even a 48 law of power. Like one of the laws of power that Robert Greene wrote was not to build
Mm,
fortresses, not to things up around you that separates you
yeah.
from other people. And say,
Mm.
yeah.
Oh,
So go
I
ahead.
was listening. Yeah, I was listening.
Yeah, so I feel like you've been on both sides of the spectrum because when I was with you that time, you were in isolation. Even though you were around others, you still were contemplating self, you still were cultivating self
Yeah.
and building yourself in many ways. But where have you seen that dichotomy? Where have you seen the juxtaposition of isolation versus being with the crowd,
Yeah.
being with your audience?
So that's where Nature Church comes in, right? Is that, I am in a rural area. And so when you're in a rural
Mhm.
area coming from Chicago, things can be a bit, you know, a bit different, right? I lived on a main street in Chicago, one of the most popular streets, and anything I wanted, I was able to go get. I would meet people literally walking out of my
Mhm.
house. Hey, girl, and walk around the corner. You seeing people, everybody's playing chess or whatever. You're immersed in the culture. You're immersed in, communicating with people. Out of, you don't get that as often in a rural area. So I've had to reach out to find community and to be around people, that are like-minded like me. And I've absolutely fell in love with the people that I've met here so far. It's like, ooh, um, this really, really does it for me, right? Um, I've got into astrocartography a lot, um, the past few months because I'm like, oh my God, every single place that I've visited, it makes sense. And along the line that I'm meeting, or along the line that I'm currently living on now, it says that your religious and spiritual side takes a very, very positive turn. Your interpersonal relationships will be valuable, and you meet people with a lot of intellectual, um, I wouldn't say intellectual stimulation, but there's a lot of intellectual value, mental intellectual value. And so that's basically what it's been, is the people that I've come across, even a guy that was at the UPS store, an older man. We were just talking about mushrooms in front of everybody, and it was just an amazing exchange, right? And I appreciated that, right? So there's a lot of that going on here, is although it's a rural area, the connections made when you go outside, when you meet other people, very much so are valuable. So, yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I agree. I agree. You know, I felt the same. I was with you when I was like, when I was in your presence, I felt like energetically, I was being influenced by your field. You know, even being around you, like we talk about, like some people call it the toroidal
Yeah.
field or the field of the heart. You know, to be, you know, to be in vibe with the tribe, like they say, your
Yes.
vibe attracts your tribe. To be in your vibrational field, that really revealed and healed
Oh,
things for me. I feel, you know.
yes. And same here. It was like, oh my God. Well, one, you're taller than I thought. Woo, right?
But you got hands though. You got hands. You put your arms up. You was like, I'll
Yeah.
be hooping. You used to be
Yeah.
hooping. I was like, yo, she got stars. She can reach
Yeah,
over me.
yeah,
You can reach
yeah.
over me.
I do got some long arms, but yeah, I was just so amazed by, I knew I would be, but I was just so amazed at the energy exchange that we had and the conversation and the wisdom that we were also giving to one another. It was just gift giving, gift giving. And the card even that you gave me just really touched me. It's hanging up here. Uh, it's hanging up here. But just beautiful gifts, right? And so yeah, I mean, just so much wisdom coming from you. Me just giving you the real on things that were going on with me, and still stuff that I'm going through now, right? Because life is a journey,
Mhm.
and we all experience pain, and there are times where we don't have it all figured out. I'm not a person that acts as though I do have things figured out. There are times where I'm literally in here like, God, what is going on? Because I don't have the answer today. This is wild. Can I get some assistance? Let me knock on your door. I have to bang on your door this time, because it's wild, right? And so, in those moments, I just remember to give grace, to take space for myself, and not be insecure or feel insecure by whatever is going on. I still am God regardless. This has always been a ride. And when I take myself back to that, knowing that I am infinite, that I've always been infinite, that this little small thing that's bothering me, it'll be over with very shortly. So,
Yeah. Yes. You know, this too shall pass. You know, and just being able to reside in that, and as well, I think that that factors into your authenticity. The fact that you don't portray or don't even have this air of
hmm
I know everything, right? Still keep that that learning. You know, you still keep that the mind of a student, the mind that there's always something new to learn, there's always something new to experience, there's always something that I don't know that someone else might teach me. I think you reach and teach so many others, you know, by having that mentality, because it's like perfection is not really relatable. You're more relatable when you're just in your essence and in your flow, and you say, you know, hey, I'm a human being. You know, I'm going through
Oh
things.
yeah.
I'm growing through
Oh
things right
yeah.
now. You know?
Um, my
Yeah.
errors have really connected me more to my humanity than anything else. My errors. It hasn't been my accomplishments. It's been my failures. It's been my times where I've been confused. My times where I just have, possibly snapped or I've gotten out of alignment. That shows my humanity because it connects us all to each other. That we are not perfect and each of us have a gift, and each of us have a flaw, you know. And the more that we show that flaw, the more that we also connect with people because in this world of keeping up with the Joneses and climbing up this ladder, people want to be as perfect as possible, especially like with what they see on television. People want to be as perfect as possible. But when you're showing people, man, I'm a regular person. I got everything. I've gone through a lot of stuff that's going on with you, right? It's like, look, that's what connects me to other people is showing that, I live a regular life just like anybody else do. I have issues just like anybody else does. I have wisdom, I can give it to you, but you know, you can experience and you can gain that same wisdom for yourself, right? Because it's just knowledge if you take it from me, but it's wisdom if you actually go through it. So, yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah,
Yeah. I love it. It's knowledge if you take it from me, but it's wisdom if you
yep,
apply it. It's wisdom if you go through it.
yeah,
I love that. I
yes,
love that. It comes from experience. So, my goodness, you know, the
yeah,
last thing that I wanted to ask was just, it was just about earlier you said a lot of people
yep.
don't believe that you're 28, you know? So when it comes to age, when it comes to that concept of time and aging, you know, where are your thoughts when it comes to it all? And how do you view time when it seems like some people are like, oh, just chill, just relax, you got time. And other people are like, no, no, hustle, hurry up, you don't have time. Where do you fall in
Mm.
between? Mm.
And that's something I'm still trying to figure out because I get messages that I need to slow down, and then I get messages that I can't stop. So what I do is I'm like, look, I've experienced a lot in life, things that I would feel proud of. I've lived a life that many people can say they can't live, right? And so I'm thankful for that. Um, but I know I can do more. So I guess what I try to do now is just to try to live in the moment and to take things day by day. Because, like I said earlier, if I had something to tell my younger self, it would be remember to have fun, you know? That's something I'm still trying to do now is to remember to have fun. Remember to enjoy the ride. I've had more threats to my freedom now, more than I ever have. And so when you have that, when you have those life altering things that happen to you, you don't want to spend the rest of your days um, trying to get somewhere. You already are it, whatever you're seeking. Just remember to enjoy, you know, because you may not have the opportunity to enjoy it as yourself again. So, yeah, I would say that those experiences where, you know, the threats to my freedom and even livelihood um, have definitely shifted me to connect more with people, enjoy more, because I may not have the time to. So, um, yeah, yeah.
Thank you for that. You know, just would you let people know where you would like them to find you? Any of your offerings, your services, you know, anything that you have going on? Would you just let
Yeah,
people
yeah.
know
So
where they
you all
can
can
find
follow
that?
me on this page. Also, I have another backup page that I'm on quite often because my Page Flowers page is a bit shadow banned. So I have Page Flowers, this page, and also Chief page on TikTok. Um, I have a large following there. And so yeah, man, whatever it is that whatever it is that you need, I got you. You know, I do assistance with digital nomad help. You know, I've been on my own for 3 years, like just following my life's purpose, you know, teaching others how to, you know, follow their bliss and create their own businesses and things like that. I've been doing that. I've taught cryptocurrency, privacy, still can, still will. Um, Social media help, you know, building platforms. I do that as well. And I also have retreats at Medicated Moors, entheogenic retreats and offerings as well there. So that's that page. So yeah, I'll leave it at that. I'll leave it at that. But that's where you can find me.
Beautiful. All right.
Oh,
Thank you,
it's an
Paige. Thank
honor.
you for coming on. Thank you for making the time, creating the time to share a message with us today.
Oh, I
Really
feel
feel
blessed by
blessed by
this
this.
too.
Thank you.
As always, it's always an honor to connect with you. Thank you so much for the work that you do. And just thank you for your light. Thank you for being a light being incarnated here at this specific time when it's needed most. So thank you, brother. See you.
All right.
See you. Take
We'll see
care.
you.
Peace.
Take care.